What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the CrownHoops Podcast. We are on to episode number 57 now. As always, my name is Jordan Daly. With me this week, we have Stacey Collier and Mateo Navarrette with a special guest this week. Straight out of Netflix's Last Chance U, we got Coach Ken Hunter. Thank you for coming on. We're excited to have you.
Oh, man, appreciate being here. Glad y'all have me on, man. And, let's get it going.
Let's get it. So we're going to start it off. We're going to put you right on the spot right away. As we do with all guests, we're going to get a quick rundown of your favorite team, which we were actually kind of debating this before you got on because we know you're from Detroit. So we're very curious what you have to say there. So we want your favorite team, your favorite player, all time and currently, your favorite NBA moment, and then we're going to end it off with a hot take of yours.
Favorite team, by far, Detroit Pistons.
There it is.
We were right.
Born and raised, so of course it's gonna be Detroit. Favorite player, it's a toss-up between Magic and Isaiah.
Wow.
I actually love both coming up. So,
okay.
Magic is from Michigan, and every kid wanted to be him. But Detroit helped. Isaiah held it down for us. So of course, we looked up to him too. Favorite moment. That's a good one, man. Probably when Vinnie Johnson hit the buzzer beater to beat the Portland Trailblazers to clinch the title for us. That's probably one of my favorites by far.
Okay.
Favorite person to watch in this age, probably LeBron.
Yes.
These guys are both Lakers fans, so hearing that breaks my heart as a Celtics fan. So it's all right.
You seem to like your point guards, your showrunners, your distributors, huh?
I didn't hear that.
Oh, I said you seem to like your point guards. You like Magic, you like Isaiah.
Oh, man, I love dudes who not scared to make a play. They, leaders, they take over. They know when to take over. They unselfish and get everybody involved. And then when the moment is the brightest, they're not scared to step up.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about a hot take? What's your biggest hot take?
I'm not sure, man. That's one of them questions. I'm really not sure.
Okay, that's fair. It's a tough one. I'll give you mine because I get roasted for it every time. Mine was that D Rose could have been in the GOAT conversation if he never got hurt.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I never really thought about that. I would say maybe Grant Hill never leaving.
Okay.
Never leaving Detroit.
That would have been nice. He was nice in Detroit. He was fun to watch with those teal jerseys too. That was fun.
No doubt. A healthy Grant Hill was something amazing to see.
All right, well, let's get into it with the interview now. I kind of wanted to go over, at first, I think the most notable thing for anyone that watched the show this year was your role as a coach. You very much came across as the players' coach. It seemed like all the players were extremely comfortable going up to you, and you kept it real with them. You weren't going to bullshit them or anything like that. You always told them what they needed to hear. And, when I think about this specifically, there's one scene where you followed Joe into the locker room after he kind of raged off after practice. You kind of just talked to him. You kept it real with him. Or like, hey, like, you're better than this. You don't need this. Where did you kind of get that coaching mentality from? And is that like what your role is? Or is there more to it?
It's part of my role, man. It's part of every coach role on the staff. They just happened to catch one of those moments where it was my turn, we all do that at some point during the season because it's a long season and it's a lot of peaks and valleys. We all got a way of communicating with different guys. Yes, all the guys on the team trust me because I probably spend the most time with most of the dudes, going through the recruiting process with them, getting them there, bringing them in as little brothers and knowing who they are as people first. And then, once we going through that process, as it can get frustrating and some of the life struggles they going through at the same time, I've been there, done that, as a player and as a coach. I've had moments where it wasn't my brightest hours. So it's real easy for me to get through to those guys because they know I'm genuine. They know it's real. They know I'm never gonna sugarcoat nothing. You know, I'm gonna always keep it 100 with them, and they respect that. You know, they respect it a lot because they know when they're in the wrong. They know if they do got a legitimate point, but you know, it was just the wrong time to voice it. And you know, we have to have some standards as coaches that we have to get through to them, and they understand that. So they know I'm the more logical guy that's going to listen a little bit more and let them have, you know, some say a little bit more than some others. And, you know, so I was always kind of that dude that can calm the situation down.
For sure. Something I was wondering, Coach, compared to your first job when you first started coaching and to the present day, what were some pivotal moments that affected your players' coaching style?
Early on, when I was younger, I was a lot meaner.
I wouldn't guess that.
a lot more cuss words came out my mouth than what you see now. And I wasn't so patient, you know, and over time, especially playing for coaching up under a Hall of Fame coach, he taught me how to be patient. You know, he taught me, you know, how to do things different ways, that you don't always have to take the aggressive route of doing things. And over the years, I got better with that, you know. I noticed that everybody don't respond to being coached hard sometimes or being coached tough. And I learned to loosen up and listen a lot more. But still, you know, I just don't tolerate bullshit. Like I really hate when players try to bullshit you or bullshit themselves. And, you know, so I got to come at them a certain way when they try that, you know, and, you know, it's learned over time. It's a lot of trial and error in coaching. I was, you know, early on, I made probably a lot of mistakes, but, you know, I was able to learn from those mistakes over the years. And I think it made me a better coach for that.
What was really interesting in the show was seeing the balance between guys like you and Mosley needing to push a guy, but also giving a guy like Joe his space. That was a line you guys were always towing in, a spectrum you're always going back and forth between, you know, when to push the guy and when to hear him out and let him, you know, just let it all out. I thought you guys did a pretty good job at that.
No doubt, man. Like every day, that's a battle. You know, because every day you got to judge the temperature that's in that room, in that gym. And every guy, you're responsible for 15 to 20 guys in that gym at the time. And they each are going through something different. And sometimes they don't open up to you right away. So normally 9 times out of 10, when a guy is having a bad day, it don't have nothing to do with basketball. It's probably something off the court that happened. And they just need somebody to talk to. A lot of times, guys don't know how to talk or how to open up, and that be the issue. That be the real issue. You know, they don't know who they can trust, who they can talk to, who they can open up to. Some of them feel embarrassed, and you know, until you make them feel like it's okay, you know, they'll still struggle with that problem, and it'll show when they practicing. So. I think we do a great job of getting a feel of what's going on with that particular person, that particular day, and trying to bury that hatchet before they even get started with that having a bad day thing. So, you know, we got a good staff, man, real good staff that's really good at that. Coach Mosley is great at it. Coach Rob is very good at it. I'm good at it. And the three of us together, man, we able to work the room and make things flow like they should.
Yeah, you guys are really masters in that sense. You both have that aspect of pushing them and then also, you know, trying to reach with them and level with them as human beings. So that's something I really appreciate about you guys. Speaking of Coach Mosley, I wanted to know, what was it like the first time you met him? What were your first impressions of him? He's a pretty big character guy.
Nah, man. And so the first time I met him, he was a recruiting coordinator for Matt. Actually, he was recruiting for Masters. And he would come in and recruit our guys at Trade Tech. But he was genuine, you know, he was straight up, he was genuine. Every time he said he would show he was there. He was responsible, man, and that's what I respected about him. And then as the years went on, got to know him a little bit better as a person. And then his first year of actually being a head coach, they were in our, you know, we were in the same conference. So got to watch him from afar, you know, and see how he handled things and how he handled the kids. And I mean, it was impressive. You know, I knew he knew his craft. I knew he knew what he was doing. So, you know, when he found out I was leaving, he was one of the first guys to reach out and, you know, extend that olive branch, man. And I thought it was perfect for, you know, what I was trying to do at the moment.
Yeah. Were there any good stories regarding Coach Mosley that the show didn't catch, or maybe something that happened before?
Oh man, there's always good stories with him. Like like what you see on film, we see that every day plus some, you know. So he always have moments, man. I mean, like Mosley is one of the funniest guys, especially coaches you'll be around. And I've been around some characters, man, but you know, he's real good people, man. I think one of the more funnier stories to me, this dude was bear crawling around the floor, man, and it was hilarious. Like we had one of those Sunday practice, and if you know anything about Sundays, athletes hate playing on Sundays. Like they really hate it. And so during conference, we actually practice on Sunday. We take Saturday off and practice on Sunday. And so the kids, you got to really motivate them. You got to really make sure everybody in a good mood for you to have a productive day. So it was just one of those days where everybody was pissed because they was there. I think it might have been like Super Bowl Sunday or something, man. It was something special going on. And I know the kids was worried about missing it, you know. And so it was just a horrible start to the practice. So he just started, you know, telling the story about how his day went, how his weekend went. And the next thing you know, he's crawling around the floor, bear crawling and rolling in circles. And man, it was just hilarious, man. You had to be there to see it. And then the kids are just dying laughing. And then all of a sudden the practice just went beautiful, you know.
Awesome. I loved the switch Coach Mosley always had. I mean, he could go from like yelling in someone's face to like laughing with them like that.
Oh,
it was so funny to like watch the show and see him be like screaming at these guys. And then the episode when they go on the retreat in the woods, he was hysterical. It's just so funny seeing that.
It's funny. You got the regular season Mosley and you got an off-season Mosley. Off-season Mosley, he's the coolest dude ever. You would want to hang and be around him if you were one of the kids, and they love him in the off-season. But regular season Mosley, that switch go from 0 to 100, like Drake said, real quick. Nah, but you know, you gotta realize, man, he's dealing when our season cranks up, when school cranks up, he's dealing with so much, you know. So he's dealing with administration, he's dealing with 20 guys with problems, and as you know, at the JUCO level, a lot of stuff don't get done in a timely manner. So it's frustrating. You're fighting for everything from money, funding, fundraising. You know, you're trying to make sure everything gets handled in a correct manner. And then you got coaches calling you 24/7. You got some problem. If a player has multiple problems and issues off the court, you got to deal with that. And then he's teaching like 5 classes, you know, so he's on overload during the season. Like, I don't even know how he do it, to be honest. I don't know how he keep the energy up day after day after day. But it can wear you down. It can stress you out. And so me and Rob know that, and we try our best to help him with as much as we can. where he has little to nothing on his plate by the time he hit them gym doors.
All right. Let's talk about coaching, the challenges and everything with within the JUCO or league and the organization. What is your role as far as like recruiting and getting like the best players as possible to come in to play?
Part of my role is first off to recruit, and get the best of the best. I don't have a lot of problem with that because, my resume sells itself. Our program sells itself. I've been doing it so long and so successful. I don't really got to battle for the guys I want anymore. 9 times out of 10, if I want you, I get you. Because your people want you with me because they know the success background. They know what I've done for multiple hundreds of kids, and so, now that they've known Mosley too, and they've seen us together long enough to know that if I can get my kid over there, he's going to come out with something beautiful, and so my role is just to go in, find who I think fit us, and think who's going to do well with us. And then guys who want to do well at the next level, who want to learn, who want to continue to develop and get better, and be impact guys on the next level. So that's part of my role. Other part of my role is, helping develop these guys on and off the court as men. I know a lot of that you wasn't able to see this particular season. And it was some COVID stuff behind that. And then there was some injury stuff that I was dealing with that particular season. I wasn't even supposed to be coaching the season we got filmed. My doctors didn't want me to. I was just coming off surgery, and they wanted me to sit my butt down somewhere and give it a little break. But, I'm tough-minded. I said, no, I got this. I can do it. So I was actually a lot more quiet than normal. And Rob was able to take on a lot of the slack that I normally had to take on as far as the on-skill development stuff. I didn't do as much as I normally would, but I knew I had Rob there, and so that worked out perfect. And then, I'm responsible for the defense and, just making sure we up to speed and up to date on our assignments and things we're supposed to do. And then, just a feel for the game in general. Mosley gives me enough leeway, to help direct game management stuff that's going on. And if I see something, I can voice it. And, he don't have no ego like that where he's beyond listening. And, he'll listen to something. And, it's his choice on whether he want to go with it or not. But we have a great relationship in regards to that. And that's pretty much it, man. I'm there every day, just like any other person. And every day I come, I'm coming to work. I'm also responsible for a lot of the physical stuff, as far as the weight room and stuff like that, especially in the off season. So normally right now we would be in the weight room. We'll be doing on court development. We'll be in a pool doing different pool drills and things like that. And then on the tracks, I'm doing some conditioning and plyometric stuff. And all this is stuff they'll be doing at the next level. So they get it early. They preparing like they at a Division I already. And so, that's why it's so easy for our guys to go to the next level and have success. The learning curve not as steep as most kids. So a lot of our guys, they having success at the next level because they was prepared the right way.
And you said that your favorite players were like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, guys who know how to lead, that can do everything on the court. Is that the type of players that you look for to come into the program? Those players that can kind of do it all, that can be a leader?
I just look for guys who enjoy the game, who love the game, who want to do the extra. And then, you can always tell by the way a guy's play, the way he plays. The way he warms up, the way he talked to his teammates, the way he talked with his coaches. I look at all that, but, sometimes talent can trump all. You can take a chance on a super talented guy that got some issues. But a lot of times, like, I'm just looking at guys who want to outwork other guys, who want to work their ass off and work hard.
So is it easy for you to tell who has like that it factor? Like, for instance, like KJ, he was highly touted, highly recruited. So is it easy for you to spot that?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I can tell you a pro from a mile away. I can tell you a D1 guy a mile away, and then I can tell you a guy who ain't got a shot in hell. The difference between me and most coaches is I'm not afraid to tell you that in your face as a person, and be straight up with you. And no matter how far-fetched your ideal of who you are, I'm going to let you know the history behind my evaluations and how accurate I am. And then kids normally be like, okay, yeah, he probably right. Let me listen to this cat, So, no, it's easy for me to tell, man. I got an eye for it, and I've been doing it for so long. Like, it don't take me but about 20 minutes, if that, to know what you're capable of and what you can do. And if you can help us, because I know what we can do for you. So I calculate all that as I'm recruiting you. And you have to be realistic with yourself, And if you're not realistic with yourself, like, I've had guys that not realistic with themselves but talented. I just said, no, man, we can't do it. Like, what you're looking for, we can't do that. I moved on. So I'm not one of them guys that's gonna make you believe into a fairy tale. I want you to really, have a sense of reality of where you at, where you trying to go, where you're capable of going, and some of the outcomes behind your decision making. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times it just comes down to decisions you make. Guys who make the right ones and work their ass off, they normally do very well. Guys who don't make the right ones and they going up and down like the stock market. I mean, it can end up so many ways, so many different ways. And if you're not 6'10" or 7 foot, the lower you are in height, the more your learning curve, that error chart goes down. You can't afford to make as many errors as the guy that's 6'10", 7 foot, 6'9", 6'8". If you under 6'6", it's some work. It's a ton of work. And hopefully you're not under 6'2", because if you're under 6'2", it's a ton of work. You almost got to be perfect. And so that's some of the things that I explain to guys right off the bat. If you notice, if you watch college basketball these days, guys under 6'2" is almost extinct. It's not many of those guys running around here at that level anymore. That's playing Division I ball. It's not that many guys in the pro level no more. As you see, the new Isaiah Thomas, he's trying to get back in. He's only 5'10", 5'9". So those jobs, it's really hard for guys like him. And at one point, he averaged almost 30 points a game, and he don't have a job right now. So, them some of the realities of this. You got to be truthful with yourself, first. If you can't be truthful with yourself, there's no way you can take the truth I'm going to hand to you or the truth Coach Mosey going to hand to you. So, you got to mature as a man to be able to, be truthful with yourself.
Speaking of those realities and kind of making things clear for guys, I feel like at the JUCO level, it must be really hard for you as a coach and the rest of your staff. You get all of these guys that are so used to being, a number one guy on their team, and now they're coming in and they're on the end of the bench. How hard is it managing all of those personalities of guys that think, they should be starting or they should be getting more minutes? How hard is it to manage all that?
It's very difficult in the beginning because you're managing a lot of new egos. But the good thing about JUCO is sometimes you return to core guys who understand the culture, And so they're able to help us with that new group of guys and get them together. The other good thing that we have at ELAC is we got 3 very good coaches who understand how to mend egos and how to bring a group together. So that makes it a lot easier because before, when I was at Trade Tech, we didn't have that type of coaching staff. In my later years, my first years that we did, but then in a couple of my later years we didn't, and so it was so stressful, and it was just too much for one or two guys to have, because at the JUCO level, everybody is at JUCO for a reason. And sometimes, it takes some guys longer to understand that than others. And, it's heartbreaking because you want everybody to play. You want everybody to have an opportunity. And everybody do have an opportunity. They all start off with an opportunity. But, it's a business to this too. You got to go with the guys who pick it up. You got to go with the guys who's helping the team right away. And then, as the other guys catching up, you got to find them some opportunity to break in a bigger opportunity. And I think we do a good job of doing that, y'all wasn't able to see it because Netflix actually started filming us late. We was about 7 games into the season by the time they started filming us. So the bringing together part, the real bringing together part, you missed it. Which always happens in the first 2 months, which is where all the drama really happens, And so they were filming.
I'm not catching that then.
Right. They were filming football, and they weren't able to catch it, So by the time they came down, we got the cavalry together by that point. It's rolling, it's running, even though it's still a little shaky at times, but trust me, if you see the beginning, you'll be like, oh, holy crap, I can't believe this is them kids, So, it's tough, man. It's a tough job, but that's what we sign up for as coaches.
Yeah, I feel like that group of guys really came together, throughout the season. Is it normally that close of a team? I feel like everyone was pretty supportive of one another, or is that kind of rare to see?
It's not rare, but it's not normal either. Okay. You just get groups that you can tell are special regardless of how talented. I think the thing that helped us the most this year, like I said, we had a good core return. And then with Joe being older, even though sometimes he can be, a disruption to himself, with him being older, the younger guys looked up to him because of the success he had in the past. It's not easy being a top 20 player in America, and so he had to earn that. So guys look up to you just because of that. That helped a lot. And Joe was a good teammate, believe it or not, man. He was a really, really good teammate. He would do all type of little things that really helped this group come together, and they loved him, man. And, as you saw in the series, he never really was a cancer to the team. He was a cancer to himself most times. It was always self-sabotaging. The players loved him, even us as coaches loved him, and that's why we were so patient with him, man. And we knew eventually he would just break out and then be able to break through.
Yeah, I'm glad he found a D1 home at Long Beach State. Really happy. It seems like he's doing pretty well there. Something I was curious about in the show, and we got a little preview of it. What's the process like of selling your ELAC players to D1 guys? It seems like you want to sell them, but there were moments where I thought it seemed like you gave them a pretty honest view of their plus and minuses. So I'd love to hear more about that process.
Oh man, I'm so with me, and guys will tell you this. I'm all about keeping it positive about kids. I'm gonna tell you all the great things they can do, but then I'm not gonna hide anything either. I want to let you know the vices. I'm going to let you know what type of structure this kid needs to make it at the next level, and be successful. Like, nobody wants to set nobody up for failure. You know, I feel like a lot of times in this new modern generation, they set kids up for failure because they just looking at the bigger name. They're not really going into deep what that particular kid needs to continue to have the type of success they've been having. So you get all these guys that transfer out of schools because nobody set them down and say, look, what are you looking for in the school? What kind of coaching staff? What vices does this kid really has? And how can we help this kid to be successful here in our uniform? And a lot of guys don't do that anymore. You know, they just, you know, selling out to the biggest program a lot of times. And, you know, it looked good, it feel good. He signed with such and such big program, so it makes everybody look good until a kid calling you in December talking about, man, I hate this coach. You know, I hate this atmosphere. I need to get out of here. I need to. And so that's what you see go on in college basketball. I don't do that, man. A lot of times my kids have bigger offers. Our kids have bigger offers. And they turn the bigger offers down. You know, they sign with the guys they fit with, the level they fit with, the level where they can have that type of success, the level where that coach is willing to put up with a little bit more than if I would have sent you to Michigan State or Duke or something, where they got 3 guys like you, so they ain't putting up with none of your shit, you know? So that's what you got to look at when you're trying to, you know, operate and maneuver and earn these guys scholarships. You know, I tell guys right away, hey, man, he ain't for you. You know, that bad fit, your style, his style ain't going to work. You know, no matter how much the coach like him, I'll be straight up. And I'm good, man. And people love that. People love that, man. So, you know, I got a reputation of being honest and upfront. My evaluations speak for themselves, where, you know, I ain't got to sell a kid too much. You know, people actually come in and watch, or they watch film on Synergy, and they see everything that I'm talking about, and it normally matches up, and, you know, it sells itself, you know. So they know if kid can make it through me and Mosley, 9 times out of 10, he can make it at wherever we gonna send him, or, you know, colleges that we prefer to.
Yeah. So do they, if they know their game pretty well, what are they looking for when they speak to you then? What kinds of things do they ask?
They looking for some of the vices. You know, Ken, what's going on with this kid? What's going on in the home? Is he a drinker? Is he a partier? Is he smoking? You know, they looking, you know, because they jobs on the line. So they got to know everything that they dealing with, you know. And I'm up front. You know, I let my kids know that, like, you know, if you're a smoker, you need to stop trying to smoke, because a lot of coaches not going to tolerate it. You know, we'll give you time to tone down off of it, because we run so much, we probably gonna run it up out of you anyway. You know, and then you know, it kind of forces you to quit if you're one of those guys. But you know, you're always gonna run into 1 or 2 of them guys every year. And then at first they think it's a game. Like, man, I don't know if I can quit, coach. I don't know. Okay. And then you run the hell out of them. And then next thing you know, hey, coach, I ain't smoked in 3 weeks. Coach, I ain't smoked in a month. Coach, you know, and we be real with stuff like that. You know, like I tell these dudes, y'all young man, we can't tell you not to do it because you're an adult, but we can influence you not to do it, you know. And the decision is on you because it's your career, you know. And I want to just tell you the history behind it. Most dudes that do it, they're not successful because it make them lazy, you know, at this level. You know, now as you go on pro levels, you can play and do it, but a lot of them don't. You know, a lot of them wait to the off season and they party how they party. But that's sacrifices you got to learn, and it's hard for a kid to try to balance that. So I just simply suggest that you don't do it, so you don't have to worry about getting hooked or getting addicted to doing it, you know. But sometimes, you know, a lot of these kids have problems so early. That's how they get on it anyway, you know, get addicted to that lifestyle. So, you know, it's crazy. Like a couple of years ago, we had a kid who was in a car accident in the 8th grade, almost killed himself. And he hated taking medication. And his way out of the medication side was smoking marijuana. And through that, he just got addicted to it, which we understood, but we was even able to, you know, get him away from it a lot. You know, we got him away from it so much. His father was a doctor, and his pop say, man, I don't know what y'all did to my son, but man, whatever y'all need, y'all can get from me. So like he was so happy his son was doing so well and started leaving the weed alone and was getting good grades. And even they relationship started mending because it was broken at the point when he had first got to us. And it started mending. And that's another thing in doing this that y'all don't get to see, even though you saw it some with Malik in the film. But we mend a lot of Black male relationships with their fathers. Even some who may have only talked to their father once or twice in their whole life. And, you know, it's kind of a big thing with me and Mosley, man. We think if you can kind of solve some of them issues, that makes some of the other issues solvable and correctable. And you start getting to the root of the problem with some of the things these kids be going through and dealing with.
It's a lot more than basketball, man.
A lot more. Basketball, Mosley said it, man. Basketball is the easy part. Like, it was just about basketball and we can just play, and that's easy. But it's way more than that, man. It's, you know, it's real life or death situations with some of these kids, man. You know, we do our all to make sure we helping and giving them everything possible where they have a chance, an avenue to make it out.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Speaking of, you know, the show and everything like that, how did Netflix do with the accuracy of the whole thing? Did they do a good job? And how was that transition, especially you say they came in a few weeks late? What was that transition like?
I thought they did a great job of cutting it up the way they edited it up, the way they portrayed everything. I thought they could have, you know, they did a good job of protecting guys. As far as some of the stuff they could have put out there, and they protected guys. They protected us as coaches. You know, they protected how we really run things in practice and all that. So that was all great. But I think the way they made the storyline, it was exactly what needed to be seen, because a lot of people think they know and they have no idea, including our administrators. They had no idea that we go through some of the things that we were going through. And so now that the story is out there, people are actually listening, and they're saying they're going to help and want to help. And it's not just with us. We fielded calls from all across America of guys saying, thank you. You know, we appreciate what y'all was able to show and do, because now our administrators are trying to help and see what we need. You know, so that's what we really wanted to get out there. You know, just a story of, you know, these guys need help. We have a successful blueprint that's helping these kids, but we don't have enough. They should have more resources. They should have more people they can go to and talk to get some of the things they need to be successful, not just in basketball, but in life.
Just curious, I was just wondering, what is the selection process like? Did you or Mosley submit ELAC to be featured, or did Netflix reach out to you?
They reached out to Mosley, man. They were looking for a top program, and I'm pretty sure they probably reached out to 5, 6 programs. They were trying to get some of the best coaches who would be seen in a more positive light. You know, because I think the Jason Brown thing just spent the whole show the wrong way. Even though he was great for TV, they wanted to depict coaching a little bit better after they was done with his seasons. So they was trying to clean it up some. Somebody referred Mosley to them, and then he told me about it, and I let him know my opinion on it because I was already a fan of the show. So, I knew what it was about, and I knew us as a staff, so I knew it was going to be huge. And I knew the type of characters we have on a yearly basis. So I'm like, no, coach, we actually tailor-made for the show. Like, it'll do huge. And he was always scared because he was scared that it wouldn't have been enough drama, And I'm like, bro, you ain't gotta. Yeah, he was really scared because they came late. And like I said, most of our drama is normally in the beginning, the first 2 months, and they actually missed the first 2 months. So, he was afraid that it wouldn't have been enough, it would be boring. And I'm like, coach, nah, man, we exciting. Basketball in itself is exciting. And I don't think he really thought that they can do what they did with the show and how they portrayed us. But he loved it. He loved the end product. He loved everything about it, from production to the music to how they individualize it, but still made it about team and made it special. And I thought they did an amazing job, man. I can't say nothing more about the job they did with the content that they had, because they definitely could have juiced it, made it a lot more juicier. And I think they will, because they won't miss another second of, if we go into the next season. I think they'll be there from start to jump. The other part that y'all didn't see, they actually was going to follow me and KJ in the off season, so you can kind of see what we do in the off season and why the binds are like they are. But COVID just destroyed everything. So
yeah, that was really rough to see, man.
What was the transition like when the cameras started coming in? Like, especially when, you see that more guys are probably getting more film time than other guys. Did that affect chemistry at all? What was that whole transition like?
Well, here's the thing about the camera time stuff. You don't know who's getting what type of camera time because it's literally 10 cameras in there filming, so you don't know how it's going to be shown, how it's going to be depicted. Like, we had guys that they literally filmed 24/7 that was barely on the show.
Wow.
So no, man, it like none of us had no idea how it was going to look until about 5 days before it actually aired, when we got our sneak peek, and you got to see how they put it all together. But adjusting to the cameras, man, I think it actually helped our practices, to be honest. Because nobody wanted to be the fuck up. Nobody wanted to be the dude on camera getting caught fucking the practice up, And so I thought the guys did a great job, because literally after the first week, you forget they're there. Like, you literally forget the camera's there, and it's like they invisible and they can be right there in your face. Like, it's crazy. Like, a lot of times I forgot I had a mic on. They probably edit me so much because sometimes I can go in too deep with stuff, So it's just like, I was scared a little bit, like, man, I hope they ain't put that on. I hope, so it'd be like that sometime. But, like I said, they did an excellent job, man. I think the guys adjusted probably after the first week. Everything was smooth. I think we only had one guy that kind of played for the cameras a little bit, that put on a little bit more than others, but he was a clown in himself, But I thought they handled it real well.
So speaking of, you were saying that you're constantly mic'd up. If you had said something that like you just didn't want getting out there, would you have been able to like go up to like Netflix and be like, hey, can you not publish that? I know you said they were good with it anyway, but like, is that like a line of communication you had?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have been like, yeah, we got you, King. You know, they cool as hell, bro. Like the crew is so cool. You know, and they really mean well by you. You know, but I never had that bad of a moment. You know, but I know, you know, I've said crazy stuff. I say crazy stuff all the time. So the kids used to me saying crazy stuff anyway. And you know, I just have fun, man. I'm just a normal guy, man. Like I don't play prissy. I don't play, you know, I'm not trying to be the perfect guy and nothing like that. I'm just a normal guy that coaches basketball, that, you know, that got a heart for kids, man. And, you know, what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm. I just think of myself in that situation. It's hard for me to imagine just forgetting about a camera being around there all the time. But if they're always filming you and they're always filming everyone, you don't know who it's going to be. That seems like that'd be the way to do it, you know?
Right. No, it's really amazing, man. Like we literally have dudes on hoverboards with camera equipment on, hovering through the gym floors, dude. They got some amazing technology, bro.
That
like
Netflix money.
Yeah, that Netflix money is real, bro. It's like like they got stuff. Like I've had dudes who've been doing camera work their whole life, and they came in our practice and was like, wow, I wonder where he got that camera from. And I wonder, like, it's just they do so much ground. Like you got cameras just they lined up on the ceiling, and they moving all over I mean, like, it's amazing, bro. You know, got floor cameras, and this camera, and it's just like, wow, you know. But it's very well done. That crew is very, very good. They're not award winning for no reason. They know what the hell they doing for sure.
Yeah. One thing the cameras didn't catch, though, was, well, we saw the moment where the guys learned, you know, there's that moment we didn't know if the tournament was going to get canceled or not. And then it was, and then we saw everyone's reaction, but you weren't there. We didn't get to see your reaction. So what was that like for you, and how'd you find out?
I was actually traveling on the road. So this was a rainy day. We were supposed to, I don't travel with the team. I seldom, well, let me not say I don't. I seldom travel with the team. You know, I'm normally with my wife and my family, and we travel up wherever the game is on our own. So we were actually traveling when they got the news. We were headed to the venue. And then I get a call from Mosley. When I got the call, I already knew it was going to be bad news, because he, you know, normally we just meet somewhere, we eat, and then we go to the hotel and, you know, do all that stuff. So when he called me, I already knew it was bad news. And so me and my wife we driving, it's raining. We probably about 20, 30 minutes into the drive, and I get the call, and Mosley says, man, can they cancel it? And I was just speechless, like, man. And then I just, you know, I felt bad. You know, I felt bad for some of the kids who were looking forward to that opportunity. I felt bad, all the work they had put in just to get there. And they really wanted to prove to everybody that, you know, we was going to win it that season, man. And, you know, we all thought we were going to win it. We all thought we were going to go up there and have real great success. And a lot of coaches come out to that particular event. You know, it's like the Final Four in college, where all the coaches just meet up and they're all there. And so it's the same way at that stage for us, you know. And so a lot of times it's a lot of coaches there that never got to see you play live. So they really don't have the true idea on how good you really are. And so a lot of times it ups your stock a lot, like twofold. It ups your stock. It's crazy. Just being there and playing in that environment ups your stock, you know. So most of the kids that play, they get scholarships in that environment, you know. And so the kids they missed out on that, man. They missed out on that opportunity. So the good thing about our kids, though, most of them have scholarships before we even enter that area. You know, most of them got at least 2 to 3 scholarships already on the table before we even get to that point. So that's the good thing about being an East LA kid, where a lot of junior college players have nothing still at that point. They still marketing themselves. They still trying to get somebody to pull the trigger on them. And it's just tough, man, especially in this COVID environment. It's super tough. And, you know, I just try to help as many as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt really bad for guys like Sean, guys like Joe. You know, I really wanted to see him get that validation. Something I just thought, what was, from your coaching perspective, what was your favorite game of the year? I'd say from a viewer, I really liked that. I believe it was against Allen Hancock. It was the game that got you guys into the state tournament. That was just so competitive. They were playing their hearts out. You were down, and you were playing your hearts out. And I was like just as engaged as I was in an NBA game. My favorite team's the Lakers, and it felt like I was at a Laker game. I was so invested in you guys.
Right. No, man. Any playoff game is always some of the best. But then, you know, I came from LA Trade Tech, and they in our conference, so we played them twice a year. And I'm undefeated since I've been at East LA.
There you go.
You know, that's my scout, everything. So I get up for that game every time, man. And you know, I take it personal too. You know, like I don't care if we on a floor, because I consider that my floor, like literally. And then I don't care if we at home. We play Trade Tech. I'm my players will tell you I'm all business that week. I don't play around.
I love it.
I don't let them play around. I'm super strict that week, and they all know it. And then we normally go kick their ass. So
yeah.
So great. What was your reaction watching the show and seeing all the players' reactions? You know, that first time.
It wasn't what you would think. The only thing that I think got me a little was my episode, and then the last episode, because that was my first time seeing them react, you know. And so with my episode, so like I told y'all, we got the whole thing about 5 days earlier than everybody else. So I don't even know nothing about my episode or nothing. I don't know how they're gonna portray it. But as it gets to episode 7, and it's showing everything, and I'm watching it with my wife and my kids, and my wife is just bawling. She's bawling tears, you know, because it takes her back to a place too, you know. And then, you know, even my sons was tearing up, and you know, so I didn't, believe it or not, I didn't cry. So Mosey kept telling me I was gonna cry because he saw he actually watched it the day before me. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I ain't a crier. I really don't cry, you know. But it almost got me. But that was super emotional to see for the first time. And then the locker room when they got the news, because it was my first time seeing their emotions. And I felt bad for them, man, still. Like, you know, we was far removed, a year removed, and still seeing their reactions for the first time, man, I felt so emotional still. Even though I know it was great for all the kids, they still moved on. But you know, you still felt like you missed something. You were left out on something that you had no control over, and that's why it hurts. You know, and that's what I tell kids all the time when I tell them, like, you know, I'm a living example of something can be taken away from you in a matter of seconds, and your life can change like that, you know. And so I tell them that all the time. So for them to actually have to live through it, you know, it really hit them a different type of way, because now they were able to say, damn, Coach Ken always say this, like, this can be our last moment. This can be it. And so when that was taken away, everybody was lost because they had no idea what was next, you know. And so it always makes you second guess yourself, you know. And am I gonna get a scholarship? You know, is these schools still offering me? Is the table still, is that offer still good? What's gonna be next, man? How we gonna, you know? And so I know a lot of kids felt that because, you know, just talking with them, going through that process at the time, it brings back all those memories, you know, watching that segment. So yeah, that segment was deep, man. It was real deep the first time I saw it.
So, what is next for you personally as a coach and for the program ELAC? You know, post COVID, as things slowly get back to normal, what's coming next?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. As long as John Mosley is at ELAC, it's gonna be successful. Whether I'm there, whether Rob there, he's a hell of a coach, hands down, one of the best doing it. As for me in general, man, I see myself at ELAC still. You know, I don't. You know, I think God places you where he wants you and where he needs you most. But at the same time, I listen to everybody. I don't big time nobody. I see what's out there for me. You know, eventually I always saw myself in the front office somewhere in the NBA, you know, G League, something like that. Or maybe even on somebody's bench, you know, helping with the development side, helping with some of the emotional side of things, you know, and helping scout and recruit the right type of pieces to bring into an organization. I've always been very talented in putting together good groups of men or young men, and you know, helping them learn what it takes to win and do well. And so I think I can do that as well as anybody in the country, maybe anybody in the world. You know, and I've proven myself over and over, you know, not just with JUCO stuff, but with pro-am stuff, with pro stuff. I've kicked a lot of ass in my time. So, I'm happy and proud of that. It's starting to get internationally known now, even though I've been kicking international butt. I've kicked the Chinese national team butt. I've kicked the Australian national team butt. I've kicked the Philippines national team butt. You know, so like I've been doing it and been respected in the industry a long time. And that's why I get a lot of the respect I get. And at some point, man, I do want to take on that challenge and move up and see what I can either do at a program or at a pro situation.
So something I was curious about too was, what's the state of the program at now? Do you guys have a team formed, and are you practicing? Where are you guys at?
We have a team. Practicing? No, I haven't seen ELAC campus since, I couldn't even tell you the last time I seen the campus. Like literally, whatever day we practiced last is the last day I seen the campus.
Wow.
So we haven't been able to get on campus. They actually supposed to be letting us in the gym soon, and letting us start to use the facilities again and all that. Coach Mosley still goes up there because he's a professor, and they got meetings and stuff. But man, it's been rough, man. Like, this really been my first time not in a gym constantly ever in my life, and so we've been out of there over a year, man, and it's actually sad, because you would think we would be the ringleaders, being Los Angeles, which is one of the, we normally, the people who everybody else look at and say, okay, they did it like this, we're gonna do it like that. But to be honest, man, COVID was handled so poorly out here, man. It was just terrible, not enough leaders willing to say, we're going to take this path with it, and we're going to do this, and we'll worry about the rest later. Everybody was scared of everybody, and they still fight each other. Like, we literally got 6 unions still fighting each other to go back on campus, because half of the unions don't want to go back. you know, and so it's a lot of politics and BS involved. But they don't realize they hurting these kids the most, because that's the kids' safe haven. You know, especially some of the kids that we get, man. The safe haven is being in the gym, being on campus with us, being in study hall. But now they're in some of the environments they're from. And some of these kids can get shot just walking outside trying to go to the store, you know, and being mistaken for somebody because they live in those type of neighborhoods, you know. And so that's something that we were really trying to get through to administration. But I guess the need, you know, they feel like they can sacrifice athletics for a minute, and everything would be okay. But it hasn't been okay. Man, we've had multiple kids have kids, and you know, it's hard to keep them engaged. Even though I think we did a really good job keeping them engaged academically, but just Zooming and you know, talking once a week, Zooming, it's not enough. You know, they need way more support than that. They need to feel love. They need to see you. They need to see how to do things the right way. Because we all, some of us are visual learners, and some of us need to really have a model on how to do things, you know. And in this COVID environment, you really couldn't do that. You couldn't model stuff. You couldn't really teach stuff how you want to teach it. You couldn't be hands-on. And so it hurt a lot of guys, you know. And unfortunately, you know, administration didn't think too much of that, you know. And I feel bad for the kids. Like I said, I feel super bad for the kids because those are going to be the ones affected. Like I still don't know the plan that they're going to have for all these kids that's suffering depression and different stuff that came with this COVID stuff, being locked up for so long. Like, you know, I even went through a spell myself where, you know, I had to battle a blood clot. I've never been in a house this long for this long a period of time. And, you know, I finally went and talked to somebody like, hey, man, you know, is this normal? You know, is it normal to feel this way? Is it, you know, what should I be doing? You know, what I need to do? And so it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with, you know, to get these kids back in the right mindset, man, because, you know, that COVID and the mental side to it, the effect that it really had on a lot of people, it's real, you know, it's real, you know. And so hopefully they got a good plan, and, you know, even before we start really getting into it with these guys, they can go somewhere and, you know, get some help or talk to some people and open up about some things.
Yeah, I'm actually out in Southern California too, so I know how it's been handled, and I'm kind of surprised that they haven't resumed practices yet. My mom's actually a teacher in LUSD, and just got back into her school, got a vaccine, but I'm really surprised that they haven't started up with the practices again.
Yeah, so. Man. Even the high schools they didn't start it back, and we still nothing.
Yeah, sad, man. Outside of this podcast, so I work with a few former NBA players. I help them with pretty much whatever they need, social media, branding wise, whatever. And they were all telling me you've made quite a name for yourself through the Drew League as well. That's something that the show didn't really talk about. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on what it's been like coaching in the Drew League. What are some of your favorite experiences through that and what that's been like?
Oh, man, it's been great, man. Like, you know, I'm a competitor. You know, I want to kick everybody's ass. Everybody know that because I talk shit. Like Drew League is like, man, it's hard to describe. You got to watch the documentary. You'll get a feel for it. But every coach talks the utmost trash because we all former players. We all from the hood down there. You know, you got a few Orange County coaches that's from different walks of life, but 90% of us from the hood, and we got that competitive gene. Like, we want to kick everybody's ass. We don't care who you got on your team. They don't care who I got on my team. They want to kick our ass so they can have bragging right. Every year, my team is one of the top 3 teams in the Drew. Last year, we happened to be number 1 with the number 1 record. And then my partner, who is Wally Moore, he probably talked the most shit out of anybody in the Drew League. So they really hate him. So they really be wanting to kick our butt, you know. So you got a Detroit legend with an LA legend that combine together, man. And we always have the best young talent there. You know, we always got guys who either first, second year pros, or they college superstars, you know. And so that's how we form our team. And before that, we had all the LA's finest guys, because we had LA Unified. So we had Bobby Brown, Pooh Jeter, James Harden, Montrezl Harrell, Marvin Bagley. I mean, we were just loaded. And every game James has played for us, we have won. He's never lost a Drew League game. Never. Wow. So we had that blessing. And so everybody knows that. And so they try to beat us and they couldn't, you know. And so, you know, you earn your way through that, man. All the NBA guys that come through, they always come talk to me. I miss some of the weekends in the Drew because I'm doing the JUCO stuff and the All-American camps and all that. So I don't get to meet every single person that come every time. But for the most part, 90% of the people that come through there, they know me, they respect me, they see how I handle players at every level. I don't give a damn who you are. I'm going to tell you what's right. I'm going to tell you stuff that I know. You can share stuff that you know, and then we combined it and we make it work. And players love me for that, man. And so that's where the respect comes from. And, you know, I've won. Like, I really kick butt. So, you know, you if you didn't respect it, you got to respect it after I kick your butt, you know. So that's where that respect's come from, you know, all the NBA guys. And they know I'm a real dude. Like, I ain't no phony dude. You know, I'm a real dude. I was a real dude in the streets. I'm a real dude as a coach. Everything I say, I stand on, you know, and that's just what it is.
That's why I love the Drew League. I feel like it doesn't matter what you did the day before. It doesn't matter what team you played for in the NBA. If you can't prove it, like, right then and there on that court that day, you're going to get eaten alive.
You will get ate the hell up. I've seen many of the NBA players come in there off a partying night and thought it was going to be sweet. And it was ugly for them. And then they never disrespected the Drew no more. You know, they come in there ready and prepared and right like they supposed to, and you know, try to earn their respect back. So you got a lot of that goes on, and that's why I like the younger generation guys. You know, the guys who want to prove themselves to those vets. You know, and want to go up against those vets, man. And so you know, I do a good job of getting that crew of kids together.
To kind of close off, you know, this whole interview, this whole episode, what would you say your biggest takeaway was from, you know, everything that's happened in the past year for you? You know, all of a sudden, you know, you're a household name. Everyone kind of knows who you are. What has that all been like for you? What's kind of like your biggest takeaway? And should fans of Last Chance U Basketball expect a part 2?
The biggest takeaway from this year, man, was just making sure that you manage your time here wisely. But I already knew that going through my injury. I knew that already, but it was great that the kids got to experience that early, because sometimes, you know, you can tell that to a kid all you want, but it never registers until he has like a life-changing situation. And a lot of times that situation is bad, you know, and so you don't want them to actually go through it before they start valuing the opportunities that God has placed before them, even though the road may not have been a road that they may not have thought it would have been, you know. I'm a firm believer in that God wouldn't put you can't get through. And I tell guys that all the time. So over this year, man, I think a lot of kids that played up under us, they understand that, to the fullest now. And I think the show helped pull that out too. So I'm really looking forward to going into it with this next group and see how the response is going to be, knowing that, coming off this COVID stuff and opportunities are limited. I really want to see what's the reaction, what's going to be the change in guys with these type of opportunities. Season 2, man, all I'm going to say is this. We did over 300 million streams in the U.S. alone, and this wasn't the biggest market, So that there should speak for itself. I mean, if I was the producer, I'm definitely doing a season 2, probably 3, 4, 5. and as long as it's streaming like that, I'm probably doing what I got to do to make it happen. No, man, them Will Smith numbers, man, they speak for itself. So, anytime you got them type of numbers involved, you're probably gonna see a season 2 and probably more than that. So, and they seem to love us. The response has been crazy all around the world. I think that's what really shocked me and Coach Mosley. Not the U.S. response, but the international response, man. Like, we're super big in the UK. We're super big in Australia. We're super big in South America and Brazil and places like that. And that was really shocking to me. Like, I knew we were going to do really well, but to be international like that, I was like, wow. I was taken back, and people who never even saw a basketball game before has been reaching out, and like, we love the show. We love your coaching staff. We love how you handle kids, and it's just been amazing, man. Is it tiresome, and do you get tired of it? Yes, but I'm humbled by it also. I do appreciate it. I'm super humbled. My private life is never be private again. But other than that, it's been good, man. I've been blessed for sure.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Well, congrats on the success of the show. I think I can speak for all of us when we definitely hope there's a season 2 featuring ELAC. Thank you so much again for coming on. We really appreciate you taking the time. That's going to do it for this episode of the CrownHoops Podcast. As always, my name is Jordan Daly. We had Mateo Navarrette and Stacey Collier, and also Coach Ken Hunter from Netflix's Last Chance U. If you haven't watched the show yet, go watch it. I'm going to link Coach Ken's social medias down below in the comments, so make sure to go follow him on all platforms, wherever he is. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Great talking, Coach.